Welcome back to the D2C podcast. Today, David Gaylord from Bushbalm is returning for his third time. I've been following this brand since the early days, right after he left Shopify and experienced 1,000% growth in his first few years. What's wild is that even today, as a much bigger business, David says they still did around 70% growth last year. And in this economy, that's nothing to sneeze at. In this episode, we get into the strategy behind that growth, about going deep with one key retailer, think 1,000+ stores, plus expanding the pro channel and treating it like a community, not just distribution. Let's get into it. I hope you enjoy it, and on with the show.
The fundamentals changed this year for Bushbalm. For a numbers perspective, we grew 70% on like a pretty good base. And we went from like more or less break even. Like always, we were kind of growing quickly, break even. This past year, we did 10% EBITDA. Like our fastest growing year in 3 or 4 years. And we grew at 10% EBITDA. We're really starting to build the engine for profit.
This episode is brought to you by Contentful. Marketers, you know that feeling when your creative clicks, when that social post sends engagement through the roof, when your outside of the box campaign hits ROI positive, when a personalized homepage turns prospects into customers? It's utter marketing bliss. Contentful helps you create tailored omni-channel experiences without working overtime. No stress, no limits, only possibilities. Get the feels at contentful.com. David, welcome back to the D2C podcast. I had to just start with the last podcast title because I don't even title podcasts like this anymore. But the last podcast we did was in 2023 in March. Bushbalm's David Gaylord goes B2B, enters US retail bigly, and rides the vajacial wave on D2C. Tough to top that title, but how are we going to top that today? How has life been since we last spoke in 2023?
Yeah, things are good. We've grown a lot as far as just everything, like revenue, top line, bottom line, team size. I think we just passed 52 people.
Nice.
Which is kind of crazy. And then, yeah, we're by far a much larger retail-oriented company now. Like it's by far our largest revenue area, both professionally and with Ulta Beauty. So yeah, D2C is a chunk of what we do, Amazon obviously, but yeah, in-person is now like the core of like everything Bushbalm does.
And I think you were just entering in 2023 when we last spoke.
Yeah, we were probably just investing in it. I have the numbers actually. I think we probably still had like 2,000 accounts at that point. But yeah, we were kind of just like adding team members for the first time to that team, even though we already had like a ton of momentum.
So what's been the biggest factor in that much retail momentum? Because that doesn't happen for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's just been obviously momentum hits, but it's a combination of product market fit being perfect. And if you have perfect product market fit, like the momentum's there if you accelerate it. So yeah, we have really, honestly, like amazing product market fit on the waxing channel. So we've just accelerated it with investments into, like we do trade shows all the time. I think last year we did 6 on the pro channel. And then we also do a ton of education now. So like live wax demos, how to use the wax, pro tips. Like there's so much more that we give back to the community. So it's now like word of mouth is really taking us to like a new level for sure.
And then what's B2B versus sort of B2C e-com or retail? What's bigger there?
How we see our world is like we call it the pro channel, and it's like a dedicated space. It's focused obviously on the waxing salons who they use it in service, and then they also retail. So there's like a lot of revenue there that's like technically retail, but it's with waxing salons. And then we've got our like retail channel, we call it, which would be like Ulta Beauty, Shoppers Drug Mart, any of these kind of like one-off or like different partnerships like FabFitFun, that kind of thing. But yeah, we call them, professional and then retail is kind of how we decipher the two.
And then you pretty much created a category when you first hit the retail markets. Like, are you in a bit of a blue ocean space or is there a lot more competition at this time?
It depends how you think about it. It's a weird area because waxing is like a different channel and it's like a different area with different competitors. And then at Ulta Beauty, for instance, we're in the hair removal section. So in that category, you look around and you go, there's not much skincare here. And you look around and it's like, oh, you're a shaving gel and a razor and a hair removal cream. Whereas, we're kind of one of the only players that makes skincare that's really good. We got routines for it. But the aftercare itself is like a pretty small category. It's very focused, very niche, but we own like a lot of it at Ulta now. And then, yeah, on the waxing side, there's way different competition in weird ways. There's like the wax companies that are all around for like 30 years, 40 years. And then there's a lot of just companies that just do skincare, or there's like one-off companies that do wax and skincare, but they're kind of smaller. It's just like a very fragmented world over there. Whereas you would know in shave, there's like Gillette and there's Schick and there's like a lot of bigger players on that side.
You mentioned trade shows. Are those mainly for the pro side of the business, for the B2B side, to sort of like trade shows to reach other waxers and salons?
Yeah, so most of them. So 6 a year probably for B2B. So we do the pro, we go to those shows. It's a lot of work for those ones, and it's very busy. And there's a lot of education we do and in person, which is good. And then we probably do another 3 trade shows a year on retail. So like we do one with Ulta Beauty. We're going to Expo West this year. So those are more so to like build up the brand and also connect with like future buyers. And we've taken a good stance of like we commit hard to our retailers. So like Ulta Beauty, we've said no to like so many other retailers. But yeah, kicking hard on Ulta and saying, hey, we're in. That's like our goal. So we're not at Expo West to like sign deals tomorrow, but we're there to like build relationships for the next like 5 years for when it might make sense to go to another retailer.
Talk to me about that environment. Ulta wants you to be more exclusive to them?
Yeah, I think anyone does. Like everyone kind of wants that and wants you to focus on them and give them attention. And for us, our thing is like, yeah, like we want to too, because the more you focus on one retailer, the better it's going to do. And for us too, it's like we have the pro channel doing amazingly well. So we might not even have the bandwidth yet to focus on an Ulta and a Target and so we've kind of said Ulta gets a very focused assortment. We can sell and move a lot of units there. But yeah, a lot of brands in our space, it's so easy to accidentally be like, oh, we signed up with this retailer, that retailer, and this retailer. And all of a sudden you have 7 retailers and none of them do well.
Yeah.
Versus like you want to land a whale and then like really focus on it, I think.
Talk to me about what that means. What does that practically mean to really focus and sort of double down on a retailer? Does it mean promotion strategy, end caps, that kind of thing? What goes into really focusing on a retailer?
Yeah, we haven't done a great job of it actually. Retail is like, I think, hard and different. D2C is so nice because you get to say, hey, we spent this much money on this ad and it led to this many sales. Whereas yeah, retail in the early days of Ulta, we didn't have that much money per se to like invest in it. So what we did is we didn't invest a ton of marketing spend that went direct to Ulta. So like it's not like we transitioned our Facebook ad strategy to do 40% to Ulta. We just kept our D2C engine going, and not to say we were lucky, but Bushbalm in the hair removal category, our natural sell-through on shelf was just great. So we like naturally sold well. And then the next year we got more products in and it sold better. We moved up a shelf, it sold even better. Whereas this year we're at the stage where, yeah, we're actually investing in Ulta in more ways. And we're doing obviously some digital stuff like Criteo and then Facebook ads, but we're also spending a lot more money on like classic trade marketing. So we're probably spending like 200 grand on like a shelf riser. So like a display that looks beautiful and sells more. And then we're doing like etagères, PDQs, which are these like in aisle displays that sell during like sale periods or whatnot. So we're spending a lot more on classic trade marketing is what you'd call it. And that stuff seems to have a pretty massive in-store impact versus online.
And it's cost effective.
Hard to say. From what I've been told from like industry experts is the number one place you need to spend money first is on your display, because 100% of the people who come into Ulta are going to go there and look at it, and that sells them right away, right? It's like a touch. It's like a physical right there touch point. It adds a ton of value. And then I've heard the second place is if you can get involved in Ulta Beauty's like sales and promotions and it's like their brand calendar. If you can be a part of it, that's how you win. But that's really hard. It's easy to say, really hard to do, because they're not going to add you to their brand calendar if you're not a very good seller. And also, if you're not committing money and resources to it, they're also probably not going to involve you. So it's kind of a give and take negotiation where oh, hey, we will do that end cap, but we would like to also get featured in the sale emails or the website promotion. So you kind of got to give and take. And so some of it you like overspend on something, but ideally you get it back and get value over here. And then ideally Ulta also sees your sales go up and everyone's kind of happy. But for a small brand, it's really hard to be like, oh, we're going to do this $30,000 end cap for 3 weeks. I don't know. I think it's not in the budget right now. That's the hardest part, probably.
Super interesting. What does your end cap look like? Because you mentioned the image behind you. If you're listening to this, as most people do, you've got a beach scene. You're in your newly non-renovated office. You've put up some decorations to add some personality, and it's part of the brand of how you guys show up at trade shows, which is a beach, like a lifeguard stand, basically on a beach. I just think it's interesting to think about how you think about that next level of branding for your product, because your products are all very functional. I remember in our first interview, you talked about really naming things kind of a little bit how, for the function that they're supposed to have, and how you're sort of built problem aware like that. But then you elevate it to this other piece, which is the beach. Speak about that a little bit and how that plays into your retail and strategy.
I think the retailing side is sometimes the best way to think about it, which is kind of an odd way to think. Is like if you go to a grocery store and just genuinely look at the end caps, you'll see the like generic ones that have no signage and display. And then you'll see the ones with what they call it a PDQ, which I always thought like, what does that mean? And it stands for pretty darn quick, which is like a hilarious, acronym.
That is.
But the reason it is, it's like meant to sell it pretty darn quick. So you do a lot of like selling features and it explains how it works quickly to the eye. So yeah, we're doing more of those like PDQs. And for us, yeah, you're right. Like we focus on very specific. So we're doing a PDQ in the summer and it's going to be 3-step smooth shave. So a bit of a mouthful. And then it's really 3 products that are those steps. And we're launching like a new shave product in the summer. So on the PDQ, it'll be very clear, like, oh yeah, I use this one, this one, this one. That's why they're all here. I understand. Our names are very specific. So it's like hydrating shave jelly, ingrown hair oil, ingrown hair exfoliating scrub. So they're very specific. But yeah, the PDQ will add like here's why you need it, but also here's like the beautiful brand images alongside it to make you draw your eye to it. So then you do want to buy it.
How are meta ads doing? How's the meta world for you guys?
D2C is just hard in general, I think, for everyone. So what we're seeing is D2C, we were up like 25% last year. So something like that, which is like pretty okay. However, the brand grew as a whole like 70% revenue. So all the other channels are like ripping and growing. And our focus is how do we make the flywheel work better? So getting people from waxing salons to then go into an Ulta or D2C and purchase. And we're starting to see that now on D2C. Like our amount of word of mouth sales is much higher. So it's been good, but they're just hard. Like you're always like cycling new creative. There's more competition than ever. But yeah, we're finding wins. Like we've had a few things where we've pulled back certain items that don't have high retention or lower retention than others, and we focus our ads more on the ones that have the highest. And that's actually helped. Like over the year, it really changed our like retention across the board. But yeah, we're more focused on the pro side, which means we're less reliant on meta ads, which is kind of handy.
Do you ever use meta ads for the pro side?
Yeah, we do like retargeting, a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. I'm just amazed as a B2B advertiser myself, Meta's ability to deliver, D2C brands to subscribe to D2C or with our agency business, agency owners. Like it's quite adept at B2B stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's like definitely getting better. Well, what's helpful for us is sometimes with B2B, it's like you kind of don't want to sell someone. So that's why we spend so much money and time on doing the education as well. It's a lot. People want to get better at their job. So we're always doing educational content. We're getting them to these webinars, demos, and that just naturally leads to people signing up and kind of purchasing.
I meant to ask you about Ulta. You mentioned getting on their marketing calendar. Are you guys lined up for something in June for bikini season?
Yeah, like the calendar is always very specific and there's like lots of things. And typically what happens is you get involved in this certain sales. So they've got like the spring break, I don't know what, spring haul or spring break sale. There's like the summer sale. It's too early to say like, oh yeah, we're perfectly involved. However, we've been working and we're doing some like trade spend on certain things with the negotiation to, hey, we want to get featured on the homepage for a summer sale. So guaranteed we're in the sale. But the next phase is like getting commitment that, hey, you're on the homepage. And then, oh, you're also in this email, right? So those things have huge impact in your sales. It's just hard to negotiate. Otherwise, sometimes you're like, imagine the website, there's a little box that says 25% off hair removal, right? Like that's fine. You're mixed in with like 20 other brands versus it saying 25% off Bushbalm. Like it's a huge delta in the clicks and the amount of traffic and like competition, right? So we're trying to do more of that.
And you're just trying to court them. You're not trying to come out and give them an overture and say, lock us in. You're just trying to let them see you and see your growth and show that you're investing and you're just hoping?
Yeah, like it's kind of a conversation, usually like 2, 3, 4 months out, where their team is also trying to lock these things in, right? So you've got to be at the right time with the right momentum to like get there and with the right products as well. Because if something's too niche, they're probably like, well, no, it doesn't make sense for that block. Like you need to be big enough to sell. So yeah, it's an all, like we've had it a few times and it's worked really well. We've pushed. Whereas you also don't want to overdo it and push too hard, especially if you're not as big as certain other brands. So yeah, we've grown a lot the last year. So it's been easier to get those features than our first year would have been honestly almost impossible unless we like were really aggressive and pushed the buyer really hard.
Yeah, took them out for dinner, got something over on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, congrats on this growth. You mentioned your team growth up to over 50 at this point. Between 2023 and 2026, can you think of you don't have to call anyone and give them too much praise, but any hires that you've made that have been absolutely critical for the business?
Yeah, we've brought on a data team. So we have like that really in-house now. So we've automated like so many of our reports, our weekly meetings, like all the graphs that show, they just like update. And yeah, that's been really huge. And then, yeah, we've really, I don't know, in 2023, how many products we were launching per year, but we've really grown our product development team. And to the point now where I think this year we'll launch like 18 new products.
Wild. And how many do you have now?
I don't know. Actually, it's a good question. We have probably like 35 or 36 Dozens. Or something. Yeah, but we do a lot of limited editions. So we launch those, they go away. We launch more, they go away, right? So that leads to us launching at least 10 limited edition products that are like true beauty, skincare, wax products. And then we probably have another like 3 that are like accessories as a, like whatever that might look like. And then we probably have like 4 full-time SKUs that are coming on as well.
Cool. And I see you've got some hypochlorous acid. Hypochlorous acid or SAS spray. What's that? Is that a new category?
Yeah, hypochlorous acid is like a really new ingredient compound and it's like super popular. So another brand, Tower 28, launched, I forget what theirs is called, SOS spray. And it just like took over. What's amazing about it is it's like a disinfectant, but it's also like unbelievable with the skin. So there's so many use cases where it kind of started, from what I understand, is in surgery, they used it for like wound care. So like kind of crazy. And then there was found all these benefits. Like it helps with eczema. It helps with acne. It literally like disinfects. So you see people on like an airplane, like spraying it on their face just to kill germs, but it also helps your skin. So it's like all these crazy benefits. It's like blowing up. But we launched it, and this is where our scale comes in. Our waxing salon business now, we're just over 18,000 independent waxing salons that use and carry us actively. That's like an insanely large group. We'll probably have 30,000 by the end of the year. So this SAS spray, amazing ingredient, amazing formula. We decided we're only launching it to our professional channel. So you can't get it at Ulta, D2C, Amazon, anywhere. And we're launching it first to them as back bar, because getting a wax, like this is a really good product because it helps with redness. It's kind of a disinfected pre and post wax. So there's all these reasons it's amazing. And then I think it's May this year, we're launching a retail version that's like a smaller size for travel on the plane. And that we're also only launching to professionals. The reason is like there are other brands that do hypochlorous acid. The way we do it, we know is more potent, stronger, lasts longer, like all these things. However, when someone else is selling something that literally the ingredient list looks the exact same, like what's your advantage? So like if we launched a D2C, like what would our advantage be against Tower 28 or
just your brand, I guess?
Yeah. However, if we launch it just to pros, the advantage is like all those other brands, like they don't have this distribution network we have that's this massive. So we may as well use that to our advantage and also give an advantage to our pros, right? They have an exclusive product. So that's like a huge bet for the company. And we're doing a lot of unique things for that product come May. Like we're doing a PDQ. Like they'll buy 6 at a time. We always sell case packs of 6. But that case pack it's like a beautiful display box that they just put on their shelf that like shows the logo, it sells the product. So yeah, that's like a big one. It's a huge trend if you look at like Google Trends data to see, and we don't think it's going anywhere. It's like massive category.
Which of your product launches does that one fit into? Is that one of the 4 like permanent SKUs?
Yeah, that would be like a permanent SKU, different size. That's like one of the easier ones to launch because it's just a different size. But yeah, definitely a permanent for sure.
What goes into so you pick maybe another product, one of your other 4 permanent SKUs that you're launching. What goes into your sort of launch strategy? Because you guys have so many different channels. I guess you treat each one separate.
Yeah, sort of. There's like beauties takes a long time and it's kind of slow. Ulta Beauty, for instance, like today I'm starting conversations for what we launch April 2027. So we haven't even done the April launch this year. And we have to plan for the following year. So you got to be on retail really far ahead. And then typically every product we launch, we try to understand the channel first, like which channel is it primarily for. And the more we've become pro oriented, we tend to be focused on the pro channel a lot. And then D2C, actually, what we're finding is this is the year we're actually getting even more focused. So we might actually, like last year, we actually discontinued products on D2C to make it so that the assortment is more clear. Because D2C is tough when you've got like 5 different categories with different products and different scents. Whereas now we're trying to focus it on, we basically got this 3-step shave routine, and that's going to be really clear and focused. And then we've also got our trimmers and hair removal devices. So those 2 categories beside each other, it's super clear and easy. But as soon as you add call it like a body care line, all of a sudden it's just like too much for the consumer to understand and too hard to do your ads for 3, 4, 5 different categories. So D2C, we're trying to focus a little bit more for the assortment, a lot of it on scent, to be honest. But then pro, they can sell all kinds of categories. Like we've got a chafing stick, like pros love the chafing stick in the summer. We've got like the post wax, we've got like dark spots that like pros can communicate it in person. Whereas on your website, it's hard to communicate that many things.
Yeah. Scent is such an interesting thing. I talk to so many different health and beauty cosmetic people where scent is playing a bigger role. My daughter's obsessed with Sol de Janeiro, so my bathroom just smells like a beautiful place all the time. Yeah, it's a good smell. But talk to me about scents and how you're working with them.
Yeah, so when we launched, I would say the world of body care, it was a weird period. Not a weird period. It was just the way it was unscented was what everyone wanted. It was like natural and unscented. That was it. Like, that's all the conversations. Whereas COVID hits, Brazilian Bum Bum Cream by Sol de Janeiro explodes, right? So that moment, and then add on to it TikTok as a conversation and lots of dialogue. Scent became a huge boom in body care. So when Bushbalm launched, we don't come from beauty. And at the time, like we weren't even thinking about the combo of unscented. But we naturally launched with 3 different scents. And that was how we did it. It was like standard. So scent's always been in the Bushbalm DNA. Whereas probably like 3 years ago, we decided it's time to let's try a limited edition, like a new scent. And we did it and it was a huge hit. And then we were like, okay, let's try it again. But instead of 1 item, we'll do 2. So we did 2 limited editions, same scent. That crushed it even more. So this year, we're actually doing our first ever limited edition with 3 different products. So different formats. And the idea is maybe in the future, we can do a limited edition drop for a month or 2 that has 4 items or 5 items, just different formats. So scents, yeah, it's like right in our DNA. It helps with Ulta Beauty. Like we have 3 different scents at Ulta now. So that should be a big part kind of long term.
We just developed this thing called the D2C Podcast Brain. So we just put like all of our transcripts into a GPT. And so before this interview, I was just sort of like, call back up our past year interviews because my brain can't do that, and talk to me about the most important things, and then take a look at your public profile. And so, and to pull out some things to talk about. It's working extremely well, I got to say. And one of the coolest things it pulled out is something that you're talking about, I think on LinkedIn a little bit more, is this concept of category rewiring, which I think is super important, especially for a product like you guys, where it's, it's an under the waistline, product that a lot of people like don't talk about a lot. It's probably thought of as like a necessity that people have to deal with. People don't like the problem that they have or facing it or something. Talk to me about what you mean about category rewiring and why it's been important for you guys.
Yeah. So shaving and hair removal in general, how we see it at Bushbalm is it's a category that has a lot of baggage. That baggage stems from one, waxing is super painful. Right? Immediately, waxing super painful. Number two, people are like, oh my God, shaving's such a chore. I hate shaving. Number three is hair removal creams are toxic. Like, that's terrible. And then number four is, oh, like razor burn and ingrown hairs. That's just part of it. That's how it works. Like, that's totally fine.
Just accept it.
Yeah, our category has all these like bad baggage assumptions. So we're trying to rewire the whole system and how you think about the category, to the point of we just launched a wax that's now clinically tested to be less painful. So like waxing doesn't have to be as painful. It doesn't have to lead to irritation, redness, all these things. And shaving, like we're adding this amazing scent, this routine to it. Our goal is to make shaving kind of cool and fun and not a chore that you hate, right? Like that everything shower combo, make it big. Hair removal creams, we're not even touching. It's not really our thing. And the idea of like ingrown hairs, razor burn, it's just part of it. It's just natural. We want to make it to the point. So right now, so if you get a wax, your esthetician will typically say, don't play sports, don't have sex, don't sweat for the next 24 hours. Like, we want you to leave a wax in the future where you're just good. You can go and you go on your vacation. You don't worry about anything. You go play sports, anything you want. But that's like a world we're trying to get to with like our roadmap.
One of the things, I guess we talked a little bit about meta, but one of the things I'm talking about with everyone who comes on these days is how much, I guess, kind of like deeper people are going with their marketing when it comes to identifying actual use cases and actual psychological profiles of people who use the product. You guys seem to think deeply about the brand and sort of everything you do. How have you guys maybe dealt with Andromeda, maybe specifically on the meta side, when it comes to psychologically profiling your users in your ads?
Yeah, we've done not as much of that probably, but we've started to do more like actual customer feedback to understand like what they say. And there's a bunch of things, like we're launching our new shave jelly, and we quickly realized, like, first off, we sell a routine, right? 3 steps, you do this, this, and this, and it'll honestly lead a smooth shave. You won't have razor burn, all that. What we've realized is people don't see the shave concept as a routine. They just see it as like a product, right? I use a shave cream and that's it. So that's like a mental model that changed our opinion. And then also just the concept of people seeing it as a chore. If you see it as a chore, that's good language that we can kind of rip into. So we more so use it for like a lot of interviews to understand. And we do so many surveys now, Bushbalm, to our customers, that we get tons of responses. And that typically will shape like how we position a product. But we're trying to do more. It's kind of hard at times. We're trying to do more content that's estheticians talking to our D2C clients to educate them on the routines and aftercare and all these things. So we're less about our old school direct response ads. Like, we're trying to change it more into like brand ads, which is a different endeavor.
What does that mean?
Right now, we typically are like, oh, you have ingrown hairs. Here's this very specific product. You should use it. Versus being like, hey, there's a new standard for hair removal and it's all about skincare, and like focusing there. We're trying to do more of that so people understand. Even waxers, as an example, like, we're genuinely trying to become like the best wax brand in the world because we just have better formulations. We come from skincare. We're turning that into the wax game. We're trying to do that more instead of being like, our wax is hypoallergenic and it does this and it's better for that. We want them to remember like who Bushbalm is as a whole versus the individual, which sometimes it's hard to do that through ads and get like the immediate return.
It makes me wonder if I talk to so many people these days about TikTok Shop, the affiliate strategy on TikTok Shop, and I don't follow a lot of estheticians on TikTok, but I imagine there's a bunch. What are you guys doing in the TikTok Shop in the affiliate space?
Yeah, we don't do anything. We do a lot of affiliate stuff, sort of. We have a lot of word of mouth just organically. We've got like a small program we're starting for the pros. But yeah, no, since we're Canadian, like we just can't do TikTok Shop, which is good and bad. The good is I worry that if you do TikTok Shop and you crush it and do really well, your comps the following year are really hard to beat. Like how scalable, how consistent, like that's on our minds. And also right now it's been nice. We're so focused on the other channels and the fact that we just can't do it. It just focuses us more on what is working. But yeah, TikTok's definitely got lots of potential, and like we do ads and all that stuff separately. But yeah, the affiliate model on TikTok Shop's like kind of shocking how much it's grown so quickly.
Yeah, I've been following Brock Memisser, a friend of mine from Frost Buddy, and I think just absolutely crushed it this year with affiliates. The simplest strategies in the world, right? Like just explaining why your product's good, like over and over and over again.
Classic, old school like routes as well.
How long do you think before you would consider another retailer?
So we added Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada. So that's different country though. So that's why we've basically tried to find our key retailer per country that we're in that we are going to focus on. And then we are doing some very small things that are exciting where like we're going to probably do a Costco test for a very specific item. So that's like exciting. And we want to like long term, a test is great because you get to see and then analyze the data and figure out, is this something you really want to do long term? But our goal in the medium term is really, we want to actually expand our space at Ulta. This year, we're going from 21 inches of shelf space to 31, which sounds like a small amount of like growth, but that's like massive for the brand. So our goal eventually is to have probably two 2-foot shelves. So get up to that like 48 inch of space. And then from there, we can really work to optimize and kind of grow it. But yeah, that's the thing, we could go looking for other retailers, but at the same time, we think we can still add like a few feet at Ulta, right? Which is, it's probably better than adding another retailer at the moment.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Monopoly, and it's like, do you buy all the properties or just, get your hotels up on the big ones?
Yeah, exactly. The bigger opportunity for us isn't to try to go after like a Target or Walmart at the moment. It's actually probably to land like some of the biggest wax chains in the country, right? 300 doors, 400 doors, their volumes will be way higher. Next year, we're going to be building a key account team, which right now we don't have. So we're not equipped to do like payment terms and all this stuff with a ton of retailers. Like we do it with Ulta and Shoppers, don't get me wrong, but to do it with 80 new accounts that are like high profile studios and salons and chains, that's a lot harder. So we got to set up like the systems and structures to actually do that type of thing at a scale.
That's so cool. So most of your salons and estheticians this right now are more like grassroots, like individual practitioners versus those huge accounts.
Yeah. Like we don't use distributors whatsoever. We've got 18,000 accounts, and most of them are 1 to 3 locations. Yeah, so it's like super homegrown, awesome people. Yeah. They're typically they're pure entrepreneurs. Like it's actually really, really cool.
Yeah, and connecting with them in your events and things like that is so smart, just fostering that community. Do you have a digital community for that as well? Like, are you guys on a Slack or anything?
Yeah, we don't have a digital community for like a classic way to describe it. We've got like a group of small, like I think a 10-person group that's like our product community that helps us make products. And then we've got our like broadcast channel and Instagram that's got like, I don't know how many people, like 3,000 or 4,000 in it. And that's like pretty fun. That's like community oriented. But yeah, there's more areas that we definitely could grow is community, like through and through, whatever that might look like. And then we have an amazing loyalty program, but as we scale, there's so much more we can do to make it even better. But yeah, loyalty on pros is absolutely crushing it. It's just, we launched it like a year and a half ago. There's so many upgrades you can really add to that. And bigger things, like if you're a pro and you spend $500,000 with Bushbalm, like a year, like we probably should do something cool for you, something amazing, like we really should treat you differently. So the standard of loyalty stuff it's pretty standard, right? Whereas when you have these exceptional accounts, like you really want to do something bigger. So we're figuring that kind of stuff out for the next like few years.
And it's funny. I remember in 2021 when I interviewed, you're pretty early. I think you just won like maybe the Shopify. You'd won some internal Shopify award or something. And I just knew that you were going to be huge. And it's still so much room to grow. So it's super exciting. Congrats.
It's funny. Like every year, I think what's good about a certain businesses, this is bad, and certain businesses is good. Every year, I feel like our market, our TAM, is way bigger. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the wax industry is huge. And then the next year, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize the shave industry is so big. And then every year, I'm like, oh my God. Whereas other businesses, I think at some point you're like, oh, we're in this very niche market and it's not very big, and we're kind of tapped out now. This kind of sucks. Whereas we feel every year we're like, oh my God, we're still so small and there's so much room to go. Like it's such a good feeling.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. I guess we'll catch up again in a year or two. And we'll see where you're at. You got to follow David on LinkedIn. That's where you're most active, I think. And you're starting to do a bit more on the speaking side of things, coming out to events and things like that. How's that been for you?
Yeah, it's good. I've seen you at a few now, and I'm doing definitely more speaking. I go to a lot of beauty events, which has been fun because I don't come from beauty, so I've learned a lot there. And then I'm getting back into like the commerce, D2C, like everything there, which is also my roots from Shopify. But I love doing chats. I don't do as many as I want to, but I've gotten a knack for it. Especially, it's just fun. I find.
I just to dive back into a little bit too, you've built this business that has so many strong, like fundamental, things going for it. This 2025 was a really challenging year for a lot of people, whether especially with tariffs and consumer sentiment and all those things. It sounds like the fundamentals of your business are maybe so strong that you've really weathered that with a lot of continuing growth. Did you feel the pinch in 2025 with some of the things I mentioned?
Yeah, like tariffs wasn't that big of a deal. There's definitely tariff impact, but also being Canadian and Kuzma, all these things actually was fairly favorable. It didn't sound like it was, but a lot of our US counterparts, right, they've got to pay tariffs on their jojoba oil and this and that. So that kind of hit Americans as well. Yeah, the fundamentals changed this year for Bushbalm. For a numbers perspective, we grew 70% on like a pretty good base. And we went from like more or less break even. Like always, we were kind of growing quickly, break even. This past year, we did 10% EBITDA, like our fastest growing year in 3 or 4 years. And we grew at 10% EBITDA. It's crazy. And it's mostly because we're really starting to build the engine for profit. The metric that I don't know if everyone else looks at this, but we have percentage of revenue spent on marketing. So at times we've been like 40% of all revenue is spent on marketing. And now that's dropped. I think we're like 21%. So that like difference, we don't have to spend nearly as much to acquire customers, to keep them coming back, just because the program, the system, the revenue we have is much more sustainable. And that's taken 3 or 4 years to like get down to kind of the way we want to do it. And a lot of it comes down to the pro, but also like retail is a huge part of that too. But hard to wean yourself off like classic paid ads, Facebook, grow D2C. But we've tried to do that the last like few years.
And streamline D2C to make it more efficient too. I think that's a great shout. Streamline the offering. And it also makes your pro offering, I don't know, more desirable. Or if people see all these other products that maybe aren't available on D2C in the hands of the pros, it only makes them maybe more desirable for a really avid user.
For sure, yeah. We call that, if you talk about retail, Ulta, D2C, Amazon, they've got limited assortment, right? Pros have our full assortment. So that does give them a huge advantage. They got newness, excitement. Whereas, D2C, like it genuinely has a limited assortment. And Ulta, if we had our full assortment, we'd have a full gondola, which like is not going to ever happen. But it does. It's a good narrative, and it does work. It's like limited assortment at Ulta. Go there, get these like core items.
And then how big is Amazon? I just did a quick search and found you guys are on Amazon. How big is Amazon a channel for you guys?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like it's a little bit less, I think, than our D2C, but very similar. And it's, again, we don't tell people we're on Amazon. We don't go out there and put it in our email marketing. We don't advertise to it. But it ends up, we get a lot of branded search. So being there is kind of defensive. It's kind of part of it. And then I looked the other day, and we've got like thousands of subscriptions on Amazon. Like I didn't realize so many people use Amazon Subscribe and Save. But we've got like thousands and thousands of people on subscription on Amazon, which is kind of cool to see.
That's a nice thing to not realize. And it's like finding cash in your winter jacket.
Yeah, exactly.
Spring. That's very cool. Nice. Well, great catching up with you as usual. Hope to announce some things in the future. We'll be in Ontario and all around doing some little events that I'll gotta stay mum about right now, but I'll keep you posted as soon as we can talk about it.
Right on. Yeah, I can't wait.
Thanks again, man. This was awesome. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you're not a subscriber to our newsletter, you can do that right now at directtoconsumer.co. I'm Eric Dick, and this has been the D2C Podcast. We'll see you next time.